Hey guys, welcome back to another Freaky Friday. So today I'm going to be talking about Lizzie Borden. So on every Freaky Friday I film a video based on like a serial killer, a haunted house, a haunted place, like all these kind of cool scary things, and then I do makeup related to it. So today I'm going to be doing Lizzie Borden, as I said. So I'm going to start by doing my full face and then we'll get on to the scary makeup. So for starters, I'm already moisturized using my Garnier's Connective Soothing Balm. And I've primed using my Tatcha Silk Angus primer. So then I'm going to be going in with my Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation, my Wet n Wild Photo Focus concealer, and I use this in light peach, or I use this in fair. And I'm going to be taking my Milani bronzer. This is in Glow. I'm going to be taking my Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder. This is Translucent Extra Coverage. So then I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. And then I'm just going to take my Praline palette and I'm going to take shade Fondant and apply that. Okay, so Lizzie Andrew Borden. She was an American woman who was the main suspect in the August 4th, 1892 axe murders of her father and her stepmother in Fall River, Massachusetts. Lizzie Borden was tried and acquitted to the murders. The case received the widespread newspaper coverage throughout the United States. She was born on July 19th, 1980 in Fall River, and she died June 1st, 1927, again in Fall River. She is now buried in the Oak Grove Cemetery, again in Fall River, and her parents are Andrew Jackson Borden and Sarah Anthony Borden. So that's a little bit about her. So the basic facts are on August 4th, 1892, Lizzie Borden alerted the family maid, Bridget Sullivan, to her father's mutilated body. Yeesh. He had been hit 10 or 11 times with a hatchet-like weapon while he was sleeping on the sofa. So, since she was part of the axe murder, we're going to be doing a deep wound on my head. So I'm going to be taking cotton balls and liquid latex to make my wound shape. So Lizzie Borden was, again, the main suspect in the axe murders, and she ended up dying of pneumonia in 1927. So in 1983, Lizzie Borden was found not guilty by a jury of 12 men who couldn't believe that a woman would be able to do something that violent, which I believe a woman could. But I guess back then, maybe not. So John Morris arrived in the evening of August 3rd and slept in the guest room that night. John Morris was the uncle. After breakfast the next morning, and at which Andrew, Abby, Lizzie, Morris, and the Borden's maid Bridget, Maggie Sullivan, were all present, Andrew and Morris went into the sitting room. Where they chatted for nearly an hour. Morris left around 8:48 a.m. to buy a pair of oxen and visit his niece in Fall River, planning to return to the Borden home for lunch at noon. Andrew left for his morning walk sometime around 9 a.m. Although the cleaning of the guest room was one of Lizzie and Emma's regular chores, Abby went upstairs for some time between 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. to make the bed. According to the forensic investigation, Abby was facing her killer at the time of the attack. She was first struck on the side of the head with a hatchet that just cut her above the ear, causing her to turn and fall face down on the floor, creating contusions on her nose and her forehead. Her killer then struck her multiple times, delivering 17 more direct hits to the back of the head, killing her. Nasty. She went to unlock the door and finding it jammed, she uttered an expletive. She would later testify that she heard Lizzie laughing immediately after this. She did not see Lizzie, but stated that the laughter was coming from the top of the stairs. This was considered so significant as Abby was already dead at the time, and her body would have been visible to anybody in the home's second floor. Lizzie later denied being upstairs and that testified that her father had asked her where Abby was, and she had replied that a messenger had delivered Abby a summons to visit a sick friend. Then informed Sullivan of a department store sale and permitted her to go. Sullivan felt unwell and went to take a nap in the bedroom instead. Sullivan testified that she was in her third floor room resting from cleaning windows when just before 11:10 a.m. she heard Lizzie call from downstairs, "Maggie, come quick, father's dead. Somebody came in and killed him." I said that so monotoned. So now I'm just going to be adding a little bit of scar blood. Fresh scab. So now that I added the scab blood, I'm going to be adding a little bit of the demon blood. So this is like a darker than fake blood, which is why it's demon blood. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the thing. So Angie was slumped on the couch in the downstairs sitting room, struck 10 or 11 times with the hatchet-like weapon. One of his eyeballs had been slit cleanly in two, suggesting that he'd been asleep when attacked. He was still bleeding. His still bleeding wounds suggested it was a recent attack. So the investigation. Lizzie Borden's initial answer to the police officer's questions were at the time strange and contradictory. Initially, she reported hearing a groan or a scraping noise or a distress call before entering the house. 2 hours later, she told the police she had heard nothing and entered the house, not realizing that anything was wrong. When asked where her stepmother was, she recounted Abby receiving a note asking her to visit the sick friend. She also stated that she thought Abby had returned and asked if someone could go upstairs and look for her. Sullivan and a neighbor, Miss Churchill, were halfway up the stairs, their eyes level with the floor, when they looked into the guest room and saw Abby laying face down on the floor. Most of the officers who interviewed Borden reported that they disliked her attitude. Some said she was too calm and poised. Despite her attitude and changing alibis, nobody bothered to check for her bloodstains. Police did search her room. At the trial, they admitted to not doing a proper search because Borden was not feeling well, which they were subsequently whatever, which they were criticized for their lack of diligence. In the basement, the police found the 2 hatchets, 2 axes, and a hatchet head with a broken handle. The hatchet head was suspected of the murder weapon at the break, and the handle appeared fresh in the ash and the dust in the head. Unlike that, all the other bladed tools appeared to have the other deliberately applied to make it look as if it was been in the basement for some time. However, none of these tools were removed from the house because of a mysterious illness that had stricken the household before the murders. The family's milk and Andrew and Abby's stomachs, removed during the autopsies performed in the Borden dining room, were tested for poison. None was found. Lizzie and Emma's friend, Alice Russell, decided to stay the night with them the night following the murders, while Morris spent the night in the attic guest room that he slept in. Contrary to later accounts that he slept in the murder site's guest room. Police were stationed around the house on the night of August 4th, during which an officer said he had seen Borden enter the cellar with Russell, carrying a kerosene lamp and a slop pail. He stated he saw both women exit the cellar, after which Borden returned alone. Though he was unable to see what she was doing, he stated it appeared that she was bent over the sink. On August 5th, Morris left the house and was mobbed by hundreds of people. Police had to escort him back to the house. On August 6th, police conducted a more thorough search of the house, inspecting the sisters' clothing and confiscating the broken handle hatchet head. That evening, the police officer and the mayor visited the Borden, and Lizzie was informed that she was a suspect in the murders. The next morning, Russell entered the kitchen to find Borden tearing up a dress. She explained that she was planning to put it on the fire because it was covered in paint. It was never determined whether the dress had actually been worn on the day of the murders. So Borden appeared at the hearing on August 8th. Her request to have her family attorney present was refused under the state of the statute, providing that the inquest must be held in private. She had been prescribed regular doses of morphine to calm her nerves, and it is possible that her testimony was affected by this. Her behavior was erratic, and she often refused to answer a question even if she would answer would be beneficial to her. She often contradicted herself and providing alternating accounts of the morning in question, such as she was saying that she was in the kitchen reading a magazine when her father arrived home, then she was saying she was in the dining room doing some ironing, then she said she was coming down the stairs. She also said she removed her father's boots and put slippers on him, while police photographs clearly show he was wearing boots. The district attorney was very aggressive and confrontational. On August 11th, Borden was served with a warrant of arrest and jailed. So though there were no bloody clothing found at the scene, Russell testified on August 8, 1982, she had witnessed Borden burn a dress in the kitchen stove, saying it had been ruined when she brushed it against paint. During the course of the trial, the defense never attempted to challenge the statement. Although adequate at the trial, Borden remains the prime suspect in her father and stepmother's murders. While Victoria Lincoln proposed in 1967 that Borden might have committed the murders in a fugue state, another prominent suggestion was that she was physically or sexually abused by her father, which drove her to commit these crimes. There's no evidence that supports that, but that's what she thought. Another significant suspect is John Morse, Lizzie's maternal uncle, who rarely met with the family and his sister after his sisters died, and had slept in the house the night before the murders, according to law enforcement. Morse had provided all absurdly perfect and over-detailed alibis after the death of Lizzie Borden. He was considered a suspect for the police for the period. Another noted potential suspect in the crimes is Sullivan, possibly for retaliation or for being ordered to clean the windows on a hot day. The day of the murders was unusually hot, and at the time she was still recovering from the mysterious illness that had struck the household. A William Borden suspect to be Andrew's illegitimate son, who was noted to be a possible suspect by the writer Arnold Brown, who summarized in this book, Lizzie Borden, The Legend, the Truth, the Final Chapter, that William had tried and failed to extort money from his father. Adding my lashes, these are Zodiac from my lash brand. I will leave all the information below in the description if you'd like to check it out. I'd really appreciate it. I'm going to be adding a little bit of the e.l.f. mascara. This is the lash volumizing mascara. The uncle was a butcher, and butchers usually work with hatchets and like meat cleavers and all those things, and they're very strong because they, you know, they're butchers, they cut meat, especially back then. So killing the whole family using the axes, kind of butcher style, I would think. And maybe it was Lizzie, or maybe it was Lizzie and John. Maybe they collaborated together to get these murders done. It's a very interesting story, and I honestly wish that they figured out who actually committed the murders, but I guess nobody will ever know because it was a long time ago. And so, final step is I'm going to add this Too Faced lip gloss. I think this is like the Tutti Frutti one. I don't know. I haven't had it for a long time. And that is it for this video. And I really hope you guys enjoyed the video and learning a little bit more about Lizzie Borden. I sure did. So again, I will link what I read down below. I read it off Wikipedia, and I did the makeup look. I had a little bit too much blood. I love fake blood. It's my thing. I love scat blood. But I think it turned out really spooky, really cool. Got hit in the head with an axe. If you'd like to follow me on my other social medias, my Instagram is mbk_beauty_, and my TikTok is mbk_beauty. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this Freaky Friday and learning a little bit about Lizzie Borden. So if you did, please give this video a thumbs up and comment down below what other kind of Freaky Fridays you'd like to see, or what other videos you'd like to see otherwise, because I also post on Mondays and Wednesdays. So thanks for watching. Bye!